Now to this, Governor Brian Kemp signing tort reform into law. The governor said that this was his top priority of the last legislative session. Doug Richards joining us live from the Capitol. So Doug, of course, this was his biggest piece of legislation. He was the big winner this session. Why was this so important to the governor?
Well, the governor said that it was important in order to preserve and enhance Georgia's business climate. Critics of the bill said that it did so at the expense of victims of crime and victims of abuse. Surrounded by admirers, the governor said that the state's new tort reform law would soften the impact of costly lawsuits that he says raise insurance rates and drive out business.
The calls for change came from every sector of Georgia's economy. The status quo was simply unacceptable.
Tort reform makes detailed changes in the rules governing lawsuits. Among others, it limits jury awards by splitting trials into two phases, one to determine fault, the other to determine damages. It places guidelines on how damages are calculated. It changes premises liability, limiting when a property owner, like a hotel, can be sued when they aren't specifically at fault for an injury.
They were complicit, and that makes them responsible.
As lawmakers debated the bill, victims of sex crimes and human trafficking complained the bill let property owners, like hotels, off the hook legally for poor security. The final bill contained an exception for human trafficking victims, but not others.
I'm grateful they got the protection, but I don't understand why someone else who's sexually assaulted shouldn't have the same rights to the justice system.
Democrat Shay Roberts was among the bill's no votes. Tort reform passed the 180-member House by a one-vote margin.
This is a bill the public didn't ask for.
But backers say the public can expect the bill to draw more business and jobs to the state.
I do think this was a fair and balanced approach that really moved us forward. We were starting to hear from companies looking at moving to Georgia that this was an impediment, that other states were using our judicial rankings against us.
Roberts predicts that the litigation bill will end up itself in court as the subject of litigation, ultimately delaying its implementation in courthouses across the state. We are live at the Capitol tonight. Doug Richards, 11 Alive News.
Doug, thank you so much for breaking that down for us. Tort reform can get a little sticky when you get into the weeds. We do know that the bill will become law immediately, though there are portions of the bill that will roll out incrementally.